Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live broadcast. I am Professor Stephenson. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this live broadcast once again. It's quite unfortunate that I went on a little break. It was due to the break my body system went through. Because of the pressure of work, stress up and down, my body went on break. But thank God I'm back on my feet now. And having said that, as a result of my inability to broadcast in recent times, I've received several questions, queries, inquiries, and things like that over time, which I want to use this to address now. We have entered the redemption period as promised. The month of November is our month of redemption. And as it's now, redemption have started. Okay? Though I received some inquiries that some cannot do their redemption. Some say their redemption button has disappeared after the first 2 days, and some are redeeming. So I believe that is a technical issue that the support will look into, and everything will be fine. Okay? So having said that, the next thing I want to address now is the issue of exchanges that some of our people have had their fingers burnt in recent time over the burgeoning of exchanges here and there, which to a large extent they are scamming our members. And I believe it's a price of our impatience we are paying. TBC is in phases. We are in the distribution phase, but unfortunately we have jumped into the exchange phase, and that is responsible for those unfavorable experiences. So I sympathize with you. But having said that, I believe we need to gear up. In recent time, a good number of our members have almost slipped out, and some are getting weaker. But the redemption period we are in, I think we should be excited. Okay? Though I receive complaint about some members being discouraged about the limitation to their cookie reward or whatever. But I think the admin have addressed that in one of his recent posts that gives an exception to that policy. And that exception is that you have to present your case, you know. Even God said in the book of Isaiah, I say, present your case. So, if you think that you have genuinely amassed those rewards, you don't have anything to panic. All you need to do is to present your case. And once your case is looked into and is genuine, you'll be free to redeem as much as you have. So there is always an exception to the rule, which I believe that post must have addressed that and laid it to rest. Okay. So having said this, I say that things are getting better because the recent changes in the TBC cookie reward system is a signal to us that TBC is something worth appreciating. You see, before now, If you make a purchase of 40 grains of gold, you will get equivalent of 100 million cookies, which invariably will translate to 100 million kringle, which is actually one coin of TBC. But as it progresses, you discover that a lot of changes have come into that area, that if you make 40 grains of gold worth of purchase, you can only have 100,000 cookies, which upon redemption will be 10,000 kringles. The difference between then and now is that the last two zeros on the cookies has been reduced or removed. And so, if you do that, you discover that upon everything, by removing the last two zeros, you get the right calculation for your kringles. So, it is very simple to calculate. Whatever you have as cookies, remove the last two zeros, and then you'll be left with the actual number of kringles you have. Likewise to the send button meeting, the reward for send button meeting has also been affected by this new policy. But the exception to this rule is the broadcasters. The broadcasters who are the builders and the promoters of the TBC community are exempted from that policy. So if you make a broadcast of, let's say, 30 minutes minimum, you are still getting your 1 million cookies. And upon redemption, removing the last two, you'll be left with 100,000 kringles. So, what does this tell you? It means TBC is something to be appreciated and holding like precious gold. And that is a signal to tell us that the future of TBC is very bright, and that what you have now is something you should hold it very, very precious, very, very serious. And some of you may be thinking that your TBC wallet is just there for nothing, it's worthless. But can't you see the signal already that to get those things you have now is very, very difficult? So what does that tell you? Which means for you to have this is something that is not very common now as it was. And from the look of things, it will be more difficult as it progresses. Why is it so? As more people come in, since the goal of TBC is to bring in 1 billion people into our community before we reach our ultimate prize, then the admin has to manage this coin so that everyone that is coming in will have their own share before we reach that point. Else, few people will collect all the coin, and those who are coming after that will not have any incentives. In other words, the cookies reward are incentive to drive the community growth. Let me take that again. The cookies incentive is actually an incentive to drive the community growth. Therefore, we have to work harder towards growing the community. The liquidity of our coin we are looking for is in the community growth. It's in the community growth. If the community grows, the coin will be liquid sooner than we expected. How does it work? For instance, in the process of growing the community, and you have an automobile company whose shareholders have become members of our community, and they see what we are doing, don't you think it will be very easy for them at the board meeting to say, let's say, we are adopting TBC as our means or medium of exchange for the exchange of our automobile products? Or an electronic giant, you have their shareholders or stakeholders or directors as members. It will be very easy for the members of our community who are having all this product to adopt it and exchange it with our coin than an outsider. What that means is that these people can only accept our coin when they become members. It is easier for a member to accept TBC as a means of exchange than a non-member, because every member that does that is also contributing to the community growth and to his or her own growth as well. So the more people we bring in, the more we get our coin liquefied. In other words, the liquidity of our coin is in our hand. Those who are sitting on the fence asking every now and then, what is happening now? What is TBC doing now? Where can I spend my TBC now? I think you still have a long time to wait. Wow. I'm sure that is not the kind of news you want to hear anyway. But I must call a spade a spade. If you are sitting on the fence and you are not ready to stick your neck to promote TBC to build the community, and you are expecting the builders to build, then you now come and reap from their labor, then you still have enough time to wait, because the liquidity of the coin, we have not reached that level. And how are we going to reach that level is for every hand to be on deck so that we will bring in more members. And in the process of doing so, the goods and services we are looking for to exchange for our coin that will provide the value or the power of our coin will come in. Because what we are looking for, the liquidity, is in the people. What do you mean by liquidity? That is availability and easy access, easy of spending. Okay? If you have an asset that is not spendable, it's not yet liquid. So as it is now, the TBC is a digital asset that is not yet liquid. But with time, as we bring in more people, more merchants will be accepting our coin, and the more acceptance we get from merchant, the more liquid our coin become. So it is very simple mathematics. If you want the coin to be liquid in the next 6 months, why don't you give yourself a target? If you have a target and I have a target, every one of us having a target, and it's okay, at least in the next 1 month, let me bring in 5 persons, just 5 persons. If we say we are to bring in 5 persons in each month, and every member out of the 3 million members we have, that 3 million members say, I am bringing in 5 persons every month, do you know that the growth of the community will be so tremendous? But as it stands now, it's just less than 2% of the members that are committed to, growing the community and building the community, which is an upside down operation to my mind. So if we want to make our coin liquid, usable, spendable as fast as we expected, then let's do the needful. The question there is that what is the needful? The needful is you cash flow. How do I cash flow? Distribute the Kringle coin. Admin is supplying this Kringle coin to every member free of charge. And so what you need to do is to spread it. Spread this Kringle coin, give it to more members, and let them receive it. Let those who receive it pass on to others. By so doing, you will be building the community. But if you are waiting and sitting on the fence till when we reach that stage of liquidity, then get ready to wait for more time, because those who are building the community now are fewer than those who are sitting on the fence and are kicking and speaking against what we are doing. So it's high time every member becomes committed to this project, that you do your best as I am doing my own. We should know that the growth in the TBC community is a collective effort. So the question there is, what are you contributing to the community? I've heard several people asking me questions. Hey, Prof, what is happening now? What is happening in TBC now? But most often than not, I reply by saying, what are you doing now to expect that thing happening in the TBC? If you don't do something, don't expect something. If you're expecting something, then you should do something. Why? The situation is very simple. The first Newton law of motion says that a body in a state of rest or in motion continue on a straight line until it's been affected by an external force. So if you are in a state of rest, then you remain there, straight. And if you are in motion, you will still be in motion until something else happens. So the question here is, the TBC community will be where it is until somebody do something. Do you understand? And the third law of motion says, for every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. Which means, if you are expecting a reaction, then you must pack an action. That is, without action, there will be no reaction. So don't wait for reaction if you have not sparked an action. I am saying this today because we have not lived up to the expectation, many of us, as we wait for the coin. The liquidity of the coin is a reaction. Are you getting what I'm saying? I said the liquidity of the coin is a reaction to our action of building the community. And how do we build the community? Is by spreading this abundance through the cookie giveaway system. The cookie giveaway system is very simple. Every member that comes into the community now receives an abundance of 25,000 cookies, which upon redemption becomes 250 kringles. That is a very big amount of money. Even now, not to talk of what will happen when we reach the ultimate prize of our goal in the TBC community when we hit 1 billion members. And so, I want to use this opportunity to encourage every member to spark an action now. How do I spark an action? Tell others. Bring more people into our community. We will be able to spark action that will lead to a reaction. And what reaction would that be? The reaction of liquidity in our digital asset. Every holder of TBC is a holder of a digital asset. So with your digital asset, how do you bring liquidity into it is in your hand. Okay? It's just like the traditional method of cooking. You know, when you prepare to cook and you light your stove, it is your responsibility to light your stove, not to just pack everything you want to cook in the pot and put it on the stove and then be waiting for the food to be done. As you put the food on the stove, you have to spark action. And how do you spark action? You spark the action by lighting the stove. When you light the stove, the heat from the stove will bring about the dawning of the food. So many of us today, from what we have done, I want to use this analogy to describe the situation in our community. The situation is that we have our food prepared and it's already inside the pot and is placed on the stove, but we are not ready to light the stove. How do we light the stove? By your action, you light the stove, and by your inaction, you will not light the stove. That is, you have to, carry out this message of abundance, educate people, spread this cookie free to people, and as they come in, you encourage them to make a purchase at least 40 grains worth of TBC, and then in a redemption period just as we are in, you will be able to redeem your cookies. Be able to redeem your cookies into kringles. Now, let me say briefly the difference between cookies and kringle. A cookie is like a point that you earn within a period of time between one redemption period and another. And then when cookies that are accumulated in form of point are redeemed, they become kringles. They become what? Kringles. And then their location also differs. The location of cookies is in the back office, while that of kringle is in the wallet. While the kringle is still in the back office, it is called cookies. But the moment it is redeemed and it enters into the wallet, it becomes kringles. Another difference between cookie and kringle is that cookies are not spendable. They are not what? Spendable until they are redeemed. While kringles are spendable right from day one. Do you understand? Kringles are spendable from day one. So, all you need is to have this understanding that TBC is rocking and you have your part to play. And what is the part? Build the community. Every one of us have a role to play. If at least 20% of our members are doing what the rest of us are doing, the community would have grown to over 20 to 50 million by now. But many are just waiting for miracle to happen. Even if you are given a prophecy in your life, remember you have a role to play for the actualization of that prophecy. If you don't know what role you are to play, number one is that you have to believe in the prophecy for it to come to pass in your life. And so the promises of abundance that TBC has given to us is in our hand. So we have the opportunity to bring this to reality in our life. You understand? Bring it to reality in our life, and then something good will start happening. So why are you waiting and you will not? Why are you waiting and not encouraging others to come in? It is very simple. For every one of us to live this life of abundance, it is advisable to open up to others. Let others come and let them enjoy this abundance we are in. You know, as far as TBC is concerned, I always tell people, if you don't want your neighbor, your friend, or even your enemy to abuse you or to stone you when TBC become liquid, tell them now. It is better to say I told you, but you refuse to listen, than to say that time, oh, how I wish I would have told you. It will be too late. And then I've heard some people say, we tell people they don't believe it, they say it's a scam, it's 419. I say continue telling. Keep on telling. What they do what they do with the information is up to them. Tomorrow they will be the one to say, oh, he told us, but we didn't believe it. They will be responsible for their own action. You know, I remember one of the advert for Star, Star Liar Beer. In those days, they will say, drink responsibly, for you are responsible for your action. They produce the beer, but they are not responsible for your own action. And to drink responsibly, that you are responsible for your action. In other words, if you drive Star Lager beer and you carry your car and hit somebody or you hit the wall, you will not go to the breweries to them for because you are tell others what they do with the information is up to them, so they are responsible for their own action. But we also have a responsibility. Our responsibility is that we are to tell others about the good thing happening in the TBC community. TBC is a mission that have a currency to accomplish it. Listen to me and listen very well. TBC is a mission. I always say that TBC is a non-violent revolutionary movement, and is a non-violent revolutionary movement to end poverty globally. And so, our responsibility in this movement is to distribute the tool of ending global poverty. Remember, we are in a movement, but our tool of operation is our currency, and that our currency is the TBC coin or TBC kringle. So whichever way or location you find in any side of the device, whether you are a holder of TBC coin or you are a holder of TBC kringle, be rest assured that you are part of the bigger family that is out to achieve this wonderful goal of ending poverty globally. So let me summarize by saying that those of us who are builders in the TBC community should not give up. We shouldn't give up. Let's continue to do this, and then you will see that very soon, sooner than later, our coin will be liquid and we will be smiling and we will be able to express and demonstrate our heart desire in ending poverty globally. You see, where we are now, we are almost at a threshold. We are almost at a threshold about to cross over to, I call the dreamland, our dreamland. Where is our dreamland? Our dreamland is a place where we will no longer know what is called Mr. Poverty. Most of us were born into it, we grew in it, and we lived in it. But I want to tell you that very soon, that guy called poverty shall be history. Okay? Very soon, that guy called poverty shall be history. And I have said it over and over, and I want to recap it now as I end this broadcast, that what is called poverty today, to anybody that is a member and a holder of TBC, it should be that your children will only read what is called poverty in the history book. because they will not know what is called poverty. Because during our generation, poverty will definitely end. Wow, that is a very fantastic and wonderful news. I thank you all for joining me in this live broadcast. I appreciate you, and I want you to keep faith with the TBC movement, keep faith with the TBC mission, keep faith with the TBC race. We are in a race, in fact, a marathon for that matter, to end strongly on the note of ending poverty globally. I want to encourage you to keep on having faith until we meet in my next broadcast. Thank God I am back, hale and hearty. Then we will rock to our promised land. Thank you once again. I am Professor Samuel Stephenson. Thank you.